There are two massive events taking place tomorrow that are going to have a huge impact on the cryptocurrency market. In this video, we're going to talk about exactly what those events are, as well as at the end of the video, cover a $1,000 XRP. Guys, this has been making headlines recently with a lot of high profile people coming out and making this prediction. In this video, I want to talk about that, so make sure to stick around for this whole thing. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you have any good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. But that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. I want to start off and talk about the first big thing taking place tomorrow, and that is the first ever White House cryptocurrency report. So earlier this year, President Trump told all the agencies in the government to go back and come back with a cryptocurrency plan. And tomorrow, we are going to see the findings of that report. Now, in my opinion, tomorrow's the big wild card. We have no idea what's going to come out of this. It might be a big nothing burger where we're just getting the beginning stages in motion, or we could potentially get something really big where all these agencies come back and have plans that are extremely bullish. So tomorrow is an absolute wild card, in my opinion. I have no idea what we're going to get, but the most important thing is it's going to put cryptocurrencies back in the public spotlight. We've been in a little bit of a drought where there hasn't been a lot of talk out of the government ever since that big cryptocurrency conference. Things have died down a little bit, but it looks like it's coming back front and center. And I believe all the attention on the market is not going to be a bad thing at all. I can't tell you guys the amount of high net worth people who have come to me recently wanting to invest in cryptocurrency because they see this asset class as more legitimate. And that alone is going to be a huge catalyst from this White House cryptocurrency report, because more and more people are starting to see that they need to start having an allocation to this asset class. And the more the United States legitimize it, the better it's going to be. So regardless, tomorrow is a huge win just for getting this asset class more positive notoriety from respected people. But we could potentially have the wild card of something crazy. Who knows what we're going to get? Now, on the other side of that, we also have the Federal Reserve making an interest rate decision. Now, I have been pounding the table for a long time now that interest rates are too high. We have had inflation in the United States at the Federal Reserve target at 2%, essentially for a year. We've been trading up and down right around 2% on the United States inflation rate for about a year now, and the Federal Reserve still has not taken rates down. Now, there is no reason for the Federal Reserve to have rates this high right now. It makes absolutely no sense. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell, as you have all seen, is absolutely hearing it from President Trump in regards to him not bringing interest rates down fast enough. Now, the market is essentially saying there's about a 0% chance we get interest rate cuts tomorrow. The market does not think Jerome Powell is going to budge. They think he's going to wait till September. In my opinion, there's a pretty high chance that Jerome Powell is going to end up cutting interest rates tomorrow. I don't know why he wouldn't. There is no data on his side right now saying that interest rates should be as high as they are, and he is getting immense political pressure to do so. In my opinion, the only reason he would keep interest rates high at this point is to stick it to President Trump. Now, President Trump has essentially shamed him publicly at this point for doing that. So whether or not Jerome Powell is going to stick to his plan of keeping interest rates high, regardless of what the data is telling him, it's going to be another one that's going to be tough to forecast. I do think we might have a surprise cut tomorrow. If the market sees a surprise cut come in, it is going to be massively bullish. If we take a look at what happened every single time the Federal Reserve has cut before in the past, it has been ultra bullish for the altcoin sector specifically. Take a look at this chart. Every single time there's been rate cuts, the altcoin market has absolutely ripped. So this is this huge catalyst just sitting in the background. We know these rate cuts are going to come. They have to come. Inflation is where it needs to be for these cuts to come. The economy is doing good. There's absolutely zero reason for the Federal Reserve not to cut. The only reason they haven't cut is because Jerome Powell is not a fan of Trump and he wants to essentially keep rates high to spite Trump. That's not going to work forever. He's going to run out of room there. Either he's going to be replaced, fired, or he's just going to do what he's supposed to do and cut the interest rate. So the interest rates are coming. And it's going to be a huge catalyst for the cryptocurrency market when these interest rates do come into effect. So Right now, interest rates have been super, super high, super bad for the cryptocurrency market, and the cryptocurrency market has still performed really well. Imagine what's going to happen when we're actually in an environment that is positive for these cryptocurrencies. I think we're likely going to gain a lot of momentum back into this sector that has essentially been held back because so much money is on the sidelines. When you have high interest rates, all the ultra high net worth people just keep all their money in treasury accounts because they're getting a high yield just for doing nothing. But the second that yield starts to go away, they take that money and look for new places to invest it to get a higher return. This is what creates a risk on environment, which is absolutely perfect for cryptocurrencies like XRP. When you take a look at what's happening with the White House coming out with the cryptocurrency report, the XRP ETF's likely around the corner. I've been hearing recently that big banks are essentially predicting an 100% chance of an XRP ETF this summer, and align that with the Ripple SEC case ending. It just looks like XRP is being put in the perfect place to be a risk-on asset for these financial institutions to deploy capital into when these rate cuts come in. Things are lining up better than I could have ever imagined, and we are already seeing XRP front run some of that excitement. But I'll tell you right now, I don't think we have seen anything in comparison to what's coming. We have all of these catalysts just waiting in the background, waiting to hit the market, and we're one of the few groups of people actually paying attention to these catalysts and how it's going to impact an asset like XRP. The vast majority of people are sleeping on this. The vast majority of people don't even understand cryptocurrency, let alone know how to pick what cryptocurrencies are going to win. I think we are on the money with this, and I think not only is XRP being positioned in this superb position to be one of the leading cryptocurrencies over the next decade to have mass price appreciation, but also all the economic catalysts are just being handed to us to make the environment absolutely perfect for this asset class. We'll see what Jerome Powell decides to do tomorrow. If he doesn't cut tomorrow, the cuts are coming in September. The market's pricing it in. There's no way he can push it out much further. There's so much pressure on him to cut rates. I don't see how he can continue this much longer. But the most important thing to understand is all the data is on the side of cuts. There's no reason to keep interest rates high any longer. So it's just this thing that's going to come. They're trying to kick the can down the road for whatever reason. It's not going to last. We're out of road. These cuts are going to come, and it's going to be massively bullish for the market. Now, with all that said, what price could XRP potentially go to when we come out on the other side of all of this? Well, just yesterday, we actually had the team of EasyA, one of the best apps for cryptocurrency education on a technical level. They were actually on CNBC, and here's just a picture of them on CNBC, and they actually put out on CNBC an XRP price prediction. And the XRP price prediction they put out on CNBC was $1,000 by 2030. Now, just to show you, these are not two just rando people who made an app. Both Dom and his brother Phil have an extensive and very impressive educational background, going to places like Wharton, Cambridge, working at Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone. These are not two Joe Schmoes. They're two extremely intelligent people who see XRP going to $1,000 by 2030. Now, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around numbers so big, right? How could XRP appreciate that much? Well, I don't think you have to look too far to actually see how something like that could happen. Not only did XRP do something similar from about 2015 to 2018, going up close to 52,000%, but Bitcoin went from a couple dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't think it's impossible or totally unrealistic to see something like that happen. I think the most important thing to understand is at the end of the day, exponentially more powerful technologies demand exponentially higher market caps. If you take a look at the early internet era, what you'll see is a lot of people were saying, oh, there's no way Amazon should be valued at $5 billion. The biggest companies in the world, the biggest oil companies, are only valued at $100 billion. There's no way Amazon could ever surpass that. Well, what did Amazon do? What did Nvidia do? They blew through those valuations and reached valuations that no one thought could be even possibly reached by any individual company. trillions of dollars. No one even thought it was possible there could be a $1 trillion company. And if there was a $1 trillion company, it would likely be one of the big oil companies. But what ended up happening was this exponentially more important technology, which was the internet, demanded an exponentially higher valuation. What we're talking about right now when it comes to cryptocurrencies is a new form of the internet, an internet of value, an internet for money, a brand new monetary system that creates brand new currencies into existence, brand new assets. In my opinion, these things are going to be exponentially more valuable than e-commerce or even GPUs like what NVIDIA is doing. We are talking about a rewiring of money itself, built natively into the internet. In my opinion, this technology is going to drive valuations just like the internet did that we have never seen before or never seen conceivable. When you're talking about a new technology gaining mass adoption and delivering on what it was intended to deliver, massive valuations and exponential runs in the asset should be expected. That's simply how these things work. This technology is going to drive so much new capital, so many new innovations, so many new investment products. It's almost impossible for us to wrap our head around just how much money can flow in. But one of the things we do know is right now, the XRP market cap is moving tens of 20s to $50 billion at a time from just $10 to $20 million being invested. This is peanuts. We're talking about $50 billion being invested at a single time, tens to hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into this market in a single day. This is what things like utility and the ETFs are going to unlock. So when you start to think about it, right, when you look at what's happened before in the past with XRP, when you look at what happened during the .com era where companies like Amazon appreciated to market caps and share values that no one thought was conceivably possible. And we look at how high and how quickly XRP is moving with just small amounts of capital deployments into the asset class, I don't think there's any reason to think XRP couldn't reach $1,000 in 2030. And in fact, I just think having the highest possible number in your mind and just training yourself to think that these things can exist will put you in a position where you don't end up taking profit at a price that is so low, it completely washed out any possibility of XRP being successful. I think if you want to look at what the perfect analysis for XRP is, it's to conceive your vision of what XRP could possibly do in the future. And when you sell, maybe don't base it on price. Base it off of that future becoming reality. Because when that future comes reality, you will see what the price of XRP is. Then the world will understand. Then everyone will be able to see it with their own eyes. Right now, we're a distinct group of individuals who think and believe that this thing is coming. I believe every single day we are proven more and more right. But until the rest of the world can see it, XRP will not garner that valuation. It needs to have the mainstream capable of understanding it. And for most people, they will need to see it right in front of them, painted clear as day, where they can't have any possibility of denying it. That's when XRP is going to reach these astronomical prices. For that, XRP needs to succeed, but every single day, I think we get closer and closer. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update, and for now, Mickle out.